What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. First off, I just want to say appreciate all of the love and support from friends and family and followers, subscribers. Big shout out to you guys. I appreciate it. It's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I'm just trying to give you guys an update on what's going on. Just been doing some more wiring stuff. As far as like headlights and blinkers and all that good mess. I did get the fuel pump wired in. Let's see, tail lights are wired in. I got a new brake switch. I installed it and have it wired up, so we have brake lights. I did make some new switches for the dash. I'll show you that stuff here in just a little bit. But just trying to give you a quick run around of what we've been doing. I took the factory wiring harness that was under the engine bay and basically stripped everything I needed off of it, which really was just the lights and whatnot. I don't need all of it. So stripped all that stuff out. It wasn't hard. I mean, you lay the wiring harness out and you know what your headlight connectors and blinker connectors look like. Basically just unwrap it all and start separating. So that was pretty simple. And then I did run my wiring through the insulation or whatever. I ran it through all of that, so I don't just have bare wires hanging out and everything. I did run it through that stuff. That's pretty much everything that I've been doing. I mean, I know it's not a whole lot, but I don't want to just like wait weeks or months and stuff and not make any kind of content, because I want this to be a consistent, type of thing. But yeah, I mean, little by little, making some progress. It's just very time consuming, and you got to have money, which kind of low on money too, just kind of squeezing by. But what I can get and what I can do is what I'm going to keep doing. So as long as I've got enough to keep the channel going and making some content, then I think we'll be all right. But I think tonight I'm gonna talk about the rear end, because I've talked about the motor and what we're doing with that, what the plans are, but I didn't say anything about the rear end. I don't think anybody would ever guess what kind of rear end we're putting in this thing, or what's in the car. Just kind of a backstory. The car was not going to be a strictly track or like back of the track or no prep car or grudge race car or any of that mess. It was going to be a, let's get out here and we'll just cruise around on a, Friday or Saturday night and see if we can get some little bit of street action and drive it home kind of deal. But plans changed. I changed a lot of stuff. Ideas started hitting my head and what my heart really wanted, and that was to go like legit racing all the time. And this is what I had and all I had at the time, so that's what I went with, and we started doing everything. The rear end is probably not gonna hold. I wouldn't say forever. I'm hoping that it does for at least a little while. But like I said, nobody would ever guess what rear end we put in this car, because I'm not sure if it's ever been done, honestly. A buddy of mine that is really good at, fabbing and doing cool stuff, and he loves the idea of taking something like that and working with it and doing it. So I'm going to show you that, and we'll talk about it. It's not finished. I still got a couple of things to do with it, and I'm probably going to end up changing a couple of things on the rear end. But the power that I'm putting to it, because it was not going to be a big block car, it was just going to be a small block nitrous car, nothing too radical, I guess you can say. I will say it's not a 10 bolt 7.5. The factory rear end, it's not a 12 bolt GM. It's not a Ford 9-inch rear end, but it is a GM rear end. I will say that it is a GM rear end. We might have done something that nobody's ever done before. We'll get into that, and I'll talk to you guys about that stuff. Also, I want to give a shout out to my cousin. He has a YouTube channel, and I really didn't even know he had a YouTube channel until I started doing this and doing mine. And you know, I'm proud of him for doing what he's doing. His builds aren't necessarily like what we're doing. He's not building like a race car or race truck or anything. His builds are more of just like custom cool stuff, you know. He's got a little S10. He's got like I think a Blazer or Suburban or something he's working on. Everybody out there that's doing this kind of stuff, and they're in the shop and they're working on a car or working on a truck or whatever it might be, we're all in the same family. We're all in love with the same things. We got gasoline running in our blood, you know what I mean? So shout out to him. His YouTube channel is God Loving Gearhead. So make sure you go out there and check out my cousin Sam, God Loving Gearhead. See what he's got going on. So the thing is, he's putting in the effort and he's doing something he loves. So you guys go out there and support him, all right? And I'm hoping soon that me and him can get together and make some content with each other for both of our channels. Because we're out here, we're trying to do the same thing. You know, it's just a passion, something that we want to do. So anyways, I won't talk you guys' ear off. We'll try to look at some of the stuff that I've done as far as the wiring, and then we'll jump into the rear end, and I want to talk about that. What are you doing, buddy? Huh? So we're going to go in through the firewall through here, and this is the sleeving. I couldn't think of the name. That's just called insulation, but the sleeving that I was putting the wires in, it looks pretty good, but we're going to tuck it the best we can and try to hide it. I know it still looks like a mess, but like I said, I wasn't done with everything. I just got it kind of laying across there. Just got to finish tucking everything where I need it. I got 2 headlights in the car just to, you know, test and make sure that they were working. They'd come on. We got the blinker lights in on the bumper and in the fender. They're just sitting in there. I just wanted to put them in there and test fit and put the sockets in there and with the bulb and make sure that they all turned on. So I'm going to show you now the new switches that I had put on the dash. So originally, if you know a 3rd gen, your headlight switch and stuff goes here. Well, I put my own switches in there, and I did the carbon fiber look on that. I actually had to cut a piece of plastic out that I had made that with, and I cut it out and put the carbon fiber stuff on there, and I think it turned out pretty sweet. But the top one is going to be dim lights, like just like running lights, and then these are going to be for the headlights. There's nothing ran to this switch, but I did plan on putting like some interior lights in here for at night, for that track or something, so I can see in the car. You can turn that switch on and turn the lights on. I did wire up the lights that go in the gauges as well, so it all turns on when you turn the dim lights on. So I will test this for you guys so you guys can see it. Of course, you got your main power, showed you that in the last video. And then turn this switch on, this is the dim switch. We got lights right there. And our lights in our bumper. And then we'll turn the headlights on so you guys can see that. Light switch. Like I said, the battery's probably low, so it'll look kind of dim, but got that. And also, we have the rear lights on. I ran the wiring for that. Very simple. I mean, you just know what power goes to which wire and hook it all up. And I put a new brake switch in. Wired up our brake switch. I don't even know if you'll be able to tell. Oh, you can, kinda. So our brake switch works. We have brake lights. I think that was pretty cool. But yeah, we got lights now, so that's a plus. and we have fuel, because wired the fuel pump up. Of course, I'm not going to turn that on because I'm not trying to make another gasoline mess. We'll jump into the rear end, let you guys check this thing out. Alright, so this is our rear end. And like I said, it's not a 7.5, it's not a 9-inch, of course, the cover being back here and whatnot, but it's also not a 12 bolt, which I just have the cover sitting on there. I'm about to put a new gasket on it, and some fresh fluid, even though the rear end's never been ran. Gear setup is a 456, and it is spooled. Like I said, kind of aggressive. It's kind of a big gear. I was wanting to go with more of like a 373 or something like that, which that's the other gear that I do have. If I need to change it, I can put a 373 in it. 30 spline axles. We've got the relocation brackets. I've got the spawn. Basically everything under the car is spawn, minus the subframe connectors. Those are UMI. You guys are going to notice some things that probably aren't factory. For instance, this bar here, and that bar over there, and just how everything is. I really want to tell you guys what rear end it is, but I'm wanting to see if anybody can guess what rear end is in the car. It's trying to give you a good look here at the rear cover, because a lot of times that's how people notice or know what kind of rear end it is, if they know anything about rear ends. And it was something that me and a buddy wanted to fab up and see if it'll work, and we're going to test it. You know, I'm not leaving on a trans brake. I don't have a trans brake. It's going to be foot brake for a while. I wanted to go trans brake, but money's tight. It does have the drag bags in it, which, like I said, this was just going to be a street car. I didn't really want to go with spending a lot of money on adjustable coilovers and stuff, but that's, like I said, I'm probably going to change some things, and I'll probably end up putting a set of coilovers or something on it. I want to change the brake setup on the rear, mainly because it's drum brakes and I want to go disc. But at the time, like I said, and I keep saying, it was going to be a street car. I didn't really care about going with a disc brake setup. It's got all brand new disc or drum setup on the car. It's all brand new parts, which is something else that I'll probably change. But that's the rear end setup. I'm trying to give you guys a decent look at it. Of course, custom brackets and stuff are made. We got to finish tightening up everything. It's just kind of sitting in the car enough to hold it together. Somebody let me know what you think it is. I mean, I'm real curious to see. This is something I've actually wanted to do since I started the channel, was see if somebody can guess what kind of rear end is in the car. But that's it. And if it works, that's going to be awesome. Really. Might put a patent. Talk to my buddy and put a patent on the custom stuff we built and build these rear ends for. Try to do a rear end setup for somebody like me balling on a budget, and maybe they'd be interested in putting something like this in a little street car or something like that. So we'll see what happens. Well, alright everybody, that's pretty well going to wrap it up for this video. I'm sorry it wasn't a whole lot, but like I said, we're just taking with what we got and we're just rolling with it. Much content as I can get, and trying to keep you guys interested and following the channel. I will say, in the last video, when we did I think it was the last video, it might have been the one before, we did the engine reveal and what we're going to roll with. It's a big block, and I said something about changing the pistons. So here pretty soon, I'm hoping that I can get some content on tearing the motor down. Even though the motor's all brand new on the inside, we had to change some things, and now I'm going to describe and kind of give you guys a backstory on what was going on and what we're doing with the motor and why we had to change the pistons. But anyways, appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good night. Happy Valentine's Day.